Hi everyone, welcome to week 3 of Follow a Researcher, Maine Coast. The next few videos we'll be discussing practices that scientists and engineers use in their research every day. No matter what field these people work in, these practices are important to help these researchers understand the world around them. I hope this gives you an idea of what science is really like. You probably use some of these practices in your everyday life and don't even know it. This week we'll be focusing on the practice asking questions and defining problems. When you really think about it, we ask questions and use information to solve problems every day. For example, this morning, you might have thought to yourself, should I wear a raincoat today? You probably looked outside to see what the skies looked like, maybe you went out your front door to see how warm it was, or maybe you even looked up a weather forecast to see if it would rain or not. Simple decisions like these still use practices that scientists use every day in their research. One of the most important steps to begin a research project is to find a topic that actually interests you. That's how I began my journey to becoming a researcher. I still remember the first time that I heard my advisor, Dr. Bricknell, talking about parasites. It sounded like something just out of a science fiction movie. As soon as I heard about parasites infecting their hosts and changing the biology and behavior of their hosts, I was immediately hooked, and I had a million questions that I wanted to answer. So that's when I decided to work with Dr. Bricknell and study parasitology, which is basically the study of parasites, their hosts, and the relationship between them. Basically, a parasite is any organism, the parasite, that lives in or on another organism, which we refer to as the host. Oftentimes, parasites will change the biology or behavior of their host to make the parasite more likely to survive and reproduce. I first started working in a lab my sophomore year of college. I got in touch with someone who I heard maybe had some work, and he referred me to someone else, and I ended up meeting my advisor, and he said that they had some work they needed some undergraduate workers for, and so I said okay, and I signed on. And then in my junior year, my advisor, Dr. Bricknell, came and said that he had a summer internship opportunity to do independent research. So I said, sounds good, sounds like a plan. And so the summer between my junior and senior year of college, I spent the whole summer on campus doing an independent research project, which was my first independent research project. And it was a lot of fun. It was really interesting. And that was where I first learned about the green crab, the invasive green crab, and the parasite that it carries. In the last episode, we talked about green crabs and how they first came to the United States in ballast water. So when I started this summer research project, I got to learn more about what the effects were that the green crab was having on the state of Maine. And one of the things I learned was that the green crab was carrying this parasite with it. So we designed a project that would look at the parasite's effect on the green crab to see if there was any new information that we could learn about that. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that I really wanted to study something that would actually benefit and help the people of Maine, actually study something that would solve these real-world problems that we were facing. And that was when I decided to study not just the parasite, but the relationship between the parasite and the green crab. My next step was to define some questions that I was going to try to answer in this research. In order to do that, I had to look at what we already knew about this parasite-host relationship. First of all, the green crab is a pretty widespread issue, not just in Maine, but across the coast of New England, and it is spreading very rapidly. Second, we know that the green crabs are infected with a parasite called a spiny-headed worm. And third, this spiny-headed worm might have the ability to change the behavior of its crab host. Overall, we wanted to know more about the effect of the parasite on the green crab because that is the piece of this puzzle that might be most important and most beneficial to the state of Maine. This leads us to the specific research questions that we are asking. The first question is how many of these crabs are carrying the spiny-headed worm, and how does this number change across bioregions or a 5-year timescale? Does the spiny-headed worm show up in different numbers across different subgroups of green crabs, such as crabs from different locations, males or females, different colors, etc.? And the third question is how can we make sure that the information we are gathering is accurate? This last question is particularly important because of what we know about parasites. If the parasite that we're studying has the ability to change the behavior of the green crab, then what method we choose to catch that green crab might be affected. This understanding could help us make better predictions about the future of the green crab in the state of Maine. In the next video, we'll make decisions about what information we need and how to collect it in order to best answer these research questions. Here are some questions for you to think about and discuss over the next week. Which part of this week's episode did you find the most interesting? And what else would you want to know? What questions would you need to ask to determine the future of green crabs? Thanks for following. You can catch a new video and see me live on Twitter each week as I answer questions from followers around the country.